To ensure that the quality and moral content of this show is above reproach, I, Sam the American Eagle, am proud to present.
Welcome to OSSB Inside and Out, a podcast about staff member and alumni experiences at the Ohio State School for the Blind. Each week, we interview someone from the Ohio State School for the Blind about their experiences. Now here's your host, Brendon Hamblin.
Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today, on the phone, I've got Nakita Griffin from OSSB. How are you doing today, Nakita?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. So, you are a you graduated, you were the class of which year?
2014.
I thought so. I thought you were in there with Billy, but they all run together, so I can't keep track of who was which class anymore. I should have graduated with your class, but I got held back twice, so that put a kibosh on that one. Let's start out with any memories or what have you that stick out from your time at OSSB, whether it be in the cottages, field trips, school days, anything.
My favorite memory would have to be the Tournament of Roses parade. I constantly write about it in my college papers and diaries and whatnot, but that was my favorite memory. Just the excitement of traveling to California, and the parade itself was very memorable just because of how long it was and not really knowing if I would make it through.
Right.
But I did, 5.5 miles, but I made it. So it was a wonderful experience going to that. Band Fest was pretty awesome. Having the band and then the choirs, that was pretty cool. And then going to, was it Universal Studios? I get it all mixed up.
I know you guys went to Disney.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Disneyland. Awesome.
And I know that was for pretty much performances and no play, from what Miss Agler said, I think. I don't quite remember, but
I got to ride the It's a Small World After All or something ride. And I'm not sure if that was Disneyland or not, but
I know Florida's got one because we rode that when the band went down for the Outback Bowl, so.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
And, let's see. The year after the Rose Parade was the 2011 Lions Club International Parade, which I was at because Rose Parade was the year before I could join band.
Yeah, I really liked it, that parade. It wasn't as long as the Rose Bowl, but the parade itself was nice. And my family from Seattle got to come and watch that parade, and I got to hang out with them after that. So that was nice, getting to meet them. It was a good parade.
Yes, it was. I don't remember what else we did, but
yeah.
Let's see. Any other cottage memories or OSSB memories or what have you that stick out?
Graduation. My graduation was memorable.
Graduation
I was super excited.
Graduation was tough for me. I didn't want to leave.
I was super excited. I got to speak at graduation. And that was a little scary, but it was, worth it. It was a good experience. And then just graduating, I completed 12 years of school. So
right.
It was good. It was a great experience. And I was really sad to leave band, but I did get to come back a few times afterwards. So
right.
I enjoyed that.
And I graduated from marching band uniform to marching assistant uniform for the Florida trip.
Oh, that's great.
Well, of course, I was on banner, but still, I did graduate from playing, which is good. Felt extremely weird being in the wrong uniform, but what are you going to do? I don't think I'll ever get used to that, but oh well. Any opportunities that OSSB gave you that you wouldn't have had otherwise?
Well, for starters, marching band.
Correct.
Obviously,
I agree with that.
The blind school's marching band is all about pretty much showing that blind people can do anything. And I felt like if I would have been at a public school and if I would have tried to have joined marching band, it either would have been an issue, or they wouldn't have known how or what to do. So I'm glad that I got to be a part of marching band. I'm also glad that I got to be a part of goalball. That there actually is a sport that blind people can play, and I don't have to be limited to forensics or, I can actually play an actual sport.
Right.
So those are the two that stick out to me. Choir was great too. I don't think there would have been much limitations with choir if I would have been in a public school, but choir was awesome. I enjoyed that too. So those are the ones that stick out.
And let's touch base on what exactly goalball is, because I know there are listeners that have no idea what it even is or have even heard of it. So I know it is kind of hard to explain, but I think we can get the overall gist of it.
I actually wrote a paper on this.
Aha. That works.
But I'm not going to read from that paper. I'm just going to go from my mind.
Yeah, I know.
But
having written the paper helps.
Right. So there is a team of 3 players, and there is a goal behind each team. And I think the object of goalball is to block the ball in certain instances so that you won't get scored on, or they won't. Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe, but really, and the good thing that I really liked about it was the how they had the bells inside the ball, so you know where it was,
right,
and when it was coming at you, which made it extremely accessible and able to, be played by the blind. So I love that. And there are also like teams around the world that, play goalball and perform in leagues and stuff like that. So.
Right. Let's see. I just opened up my questions because I forgot what I had written out. And then I had to reopen them. Doing it digitally is hard. What are one of the, are there any sad memories or happy memories that stick out from your time at OSSB? Because I know OSSB is indeed, undoubtedly, or you know what I mean. Listeners, I'm sure, know what I mean. Is a family. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, are there any happy or sad memories that stick out?
Happy memories. We'll just stick with that.
That works. 'Cause
So,
why not?
I think one time while I was at OSSB, I won an award for, it was like the librarian award or something. And all of my friends will tell you that they could find me in the bookshelves reading a book. I was never out, like, sitting at the table doing homework. I was always in the bookshelves reading a book. And I know I used to come in and I used to ask Miss Brown for books, bunches of them. And then, like, I'd check out bunches of books. So that's how I got that award. I think when I started at Whetstone High School, that was another happy memory because Miss Wilson was the one that was pushing me to go and said that, I'd get challenged. So I went to Whetstone and I enjoyed my English classes and experiences. I got to read books that I probably wouldn't have read at OSSB there. So that was good, and I enjoyed my time at Whetstone. Anything else? I don't think so. I'd have to really think about it.
That's all right. Now, I know we all had fun in Miss Wilson's class. No doubts about that. Miss Wilson is and always will be one of the best English teachers I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
She was always on top of it she always made you do your work, but it was always in a fun way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
my first class with her, Ariel had brought me into the room and I sat down and I was so new. Like, I was just sitting there and I was chewing gum and I, popped a bubble.
Yeah.
And she was about to start reading and she was like, "Can you please not do that?" So I was like, okay. And I think when I first came in, they had told me, yeah, she's the teacher that doesn't like you to say ain't in her class.
And if you did, it wasn't pretty. Well, to a degree. It was handleable, but you got yelled at if you did.
Yep.
The one room in the entire building where you couldn't say ain't. Because nobody else cared.
Uh-huh. Right.
Any other teachers that were fun or made class interesting?
I really liked Mr. Kelly. I had tech class with him, health class sometimes, and career class. I think I had career class with him.
I know I had career class with Mr. Shaw. That was fun.
I did too for a time, but I also had part of it with Mr. Kelly. So Mr. Kelly, he is funny all around, but I just enjoyed his classes. I feel like I learned a lot technology-wise with him. And then he was also our band director for some time. So
yes,
I enjoyed learning from someone else who was blind, who was also musically inclined, if you know what I mean. But
yep. I get
that
what
was
you mean.
great. And I feel like he was the reason I wanted to pick up a trumpet. At Whetstone, I got to try out trumpet for the first time, and I liked it, sort of. So
you played percussion in the blind school marching band?
I did, and I loved every second of it. Sort of.
I was trumpet the entire time, and I loved every second of it too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are there any field trips that stick out or sporting events or band trips other than Pasadena and Seattle, Washington?
So there was one time we were going up to Cleveland to perform with Hathaway Brown. This is a band trip.
Right. We did that quite a bit.
And I think we did, I can't remember the song. I don't remember the song. But
they all run together after a while.
I thought for a while that I wouldn't be able to go because I had gotten in trouble with my gym teacher. And I was really worried that Mr. Kelly was going to tell me that I couldn't go.
Right.
But I was able to go, and I really had fun on that trip. So, go ball-wise, when I first went to Tennessee for the first time, it was just really strange because of the time difference.
I can understand that. The time difference will throw you off.
But it was really nice, like, going down there and seeing how other people had their goal ball courts laid out. Like, so that was cool. And then being able to stay in the dorms, too. So it was really nice. And I also felt kind of free while on some of those goal ball trips because, you know, the coaches weren't too... what's the right word? They weren't too, like, hovery over us, you know, like we could go out and we can explore.
Yep.
And, you know, we were always in a group, so it wasn't like, you know, so those were good moments. That's all I can think of right now.
That's all right. Now, I know my 8th grade year, we went 7th or 8th grade year. I think it was 8th. Could have been either 8th or 9th even. We went to Washington, D.C. for the close-up trip. Did you go on that?
Right. Maybe. What year? Do you know what year? Like what year it was?
I don't, unfortunately. I think it was pretty much the entire high school. Junior high and high school.
Oh, yes, but I don't remember much about that trip. I do remember going on it.
I remember going on it too, but I unfortunately don't remember much about it either.
Yeah. But I remember when we went in 2015. This was actually right before I started college.
Mr. Reinhardt and I talked about that, or this trip, this past episode. Yesterday at the time of recording.
The guards thing, like, that was so cool.
That was awesome.
It was really nice. So that was a good memory. I don't think I got to ride the what do they have down there in DC? Is it the subway or the tram or something? I don't know.
The subway or the metro, or I'm not even sure. It's a train of some sort.
But yeah, there was really is DC where the Holocaust Museum was?
I think it is there because I'm pretty sure some of us went to that and some of us went to like the Smithsonian or something.
Yeah, so I went to both, and I really liked the Holocaust Museum because, you know, Holocaust was pretty popular back in the day, and I enjoyed reading about stuff like that. So It was kind of good to go into the museum and see different things like that. So, Yeah.
Exactly. I know you were residential because you live up in Cleveland, and the school's in Columbus, so that would be a heck of a day trip every day.
Yeah.
So, what was cottage life like for you?
I honestly enjoyed it. Being there every day and then coming home only on the weekends. I kind of felt like I got to meet more new people, the
Right.
people in my dorm, and we got to go on more trips, which obviously made me feel like a normal blind kid.
Right.
Going to movies. And then when we had those dances in the rec center, those were super fun. Can't forget about those.
Exactly.
We went to the movies. We went to plays. My favorite was when we went ice skating. I loved ice skating.
I remember that. I never left the wall.
Me neither. Yeah.
I would have landed on my face had I left the wall.
I think we went swimming a couple times. Man, we went a lot of places, but I really enjoyed having those experiences,
Right. And that was back when Mr. Garris was recreational director,
Yep.
or back when we did fun stuff and had somebody who wanted to get us out of the building.
Yeah.
Were you on any sports other than goalball?
Nope. Just go wall.
Goalball and band.
Yeah, right.
And I was pretty much just band.
I considered band a sport, so yeah.
Right. Band kind of is a sport, if you think about it.
Right.
Let's see. Any advice you have for people who may be looking into sending their kid to a school for the blind, whether it be here in Ohio or any other state that may have a state school for the blind?
I mean, I'd honestly say go for it. You gain independence, knowledge, and it's a wonderful experience, especially doing things that you wouldn't imagine your child doing because of their blindness. So I would honestly say go for it. It's a wonderful experience.
I would agree. Any memories that pop up that make you just laugh? Whether it be out loud or...
So, yes, the one that comes to mind is me and Billy Brandon. We were sitting at dinner, and I was saying something to him. I don't remember what it was, but I said, and I felt his chin, and I said, Billy, I said, Billy, you have a squint chair. And what I meant to say was, you have a square chin. We laughed about that for it was days, man. It was a really funny memory. Let me see if there are any others.
I'm sure there are, because we had a great time, bunch of great times at OSSB, whether it be snow days or what have you.
Oh, snow days were the best days, Just to be in the dorm, and I didn't have to go to my public school a lot of the time when it was snowing out, and OSSB didn't have school.
Right, and
so
half the school didn't show up because they're day students.
So that was the first time that it was like, oh, okay, like you guys are going to be in your dorms all day. So that was a really interesting and fun experience. I got homework done and didn't have to go to school or do anything. So it was cool. I liked it. I know for Halloween one year, I came to the Halloween party as Nicki Minaj, and I had a wig on. And then the song, the song "With My Hair" by Willow Swift came on, and my friends all grabbed me, and we went, and I started whipping my hair, and the Nicki Minaj wig flew off, literally flew off.
It's what happens when you don't attach it to your head.
It was a really funny, crazy experience, too. So, yeah.
We've got them. Why not use them?
That is so great. I love that.
I figure we're laughing. Why not use it?
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there have been others. But those are the two that come to mind automatically.
You started at OSSB your
2008, 7th grade year.
7th grade year?
Yeah.
And you were obviously there till you graduated, so you had your extent of time at OSSB.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I remember was the bake-offs that home ec did.
Yeah, I don't remember them too much. I think Jeremiah won one year, and that's the only reason why I remember, because he was a part of our class. And now he's a chef, so
right.
That was a good start for him, actually, I would say.
I would say so, too. Let's see. You weren't in any extracurriculars like vending or graphics or anything of that nature?
Nope. Mr. Shaw tried to get me to do the canteen a couple times. He also tried to... We did, like, the vending...
the vending aspect of it, yeah.
Yeah, in career class, but nothing, like that.
I know after we got moved into the new building, may have been the second year we were in or somewhere in there, I came in because I had put vending in vocational or the vocational kitchen, whatever it was called, I forget what it was called, or is called.
Yeah.
I put that on the bottom of my, what extracurriculars I wanted the next year, the following, or the previous year. Somehow I ended up in vending and that class that I wasn't happy with.
Wow.
So somebody didn't, not that I'm complaining, because back then I was, because I didn't want to do it, but it taught me stuff that I still use.
Right.
Having trouble thinking of stuff. Now, are there any gym class memories that stick out, whether it be track or pool or just in the gym?
Well, the pool, I liked swimming, but there were times where I just really didn't want to get in the pool. And literally the day before that Cleveland trip that I was telling you about was one of those days. But also, because I got my hair done a certain way, and my mom said, she told me that I couldn't get in the pool that week because if I was going to Cleveland, I needed to have my hair good and what have you.
Right.
So I literally went to the pool, and Mr. Peter Fish he had asked me, why wasn't I in my swimsuit? And I told him that I couldn't swim today. And he asked me why. And I was pointing at my hair, but I told him, we're going to Cleveland tomorrow. The band's going to Cleveland tomorrow. Like, I can't get my hair wet.
Right.
Why don't you wear a swim cap? No. So I got in trouble that day because I left the pool and I didn't come back. And then right at band class, Martin told me to go and talk to Mr. Peterfish. So I went down, and he said, oh, well, what you did was wrong, and we're going to have to figure out an alternative assignment since you didn't swim. I was like, okay, and I turned around and I went back to band class. So the next day, he told me to meet him in the gym or something. So I did.
Right.
And his assignment was he wanted me to write a 5-paragraph paper on why exercise or swimming is important. Okay, no big deal. You act like, okay.
You act like I hate writing.
Literally on our way back to, Columbus, I wrote that paper.
Right. He acted like you hated writing,
So,
which, as we all know, you actually don't.
yeah.
Now, let's talk about how life's been for you since graduating from OSSB.
Okay. Well, after graduating, it was a little bit rocky.
As it is for most people, I'm sure.
I had applied to go to Wright State, and we had went down to Dayton, got all the necessary stuff done, and went to orientation and everything. And twice I didn't get to go to Wright State because of BSVI.
Uh-huh.
That's another story. But
we won't go there.
It made me pretty much jump through all types of hurdles and hoops. And they were like, well, we need to test her to see if she's college material ready. So they did. They put me through all these tests where I had to be there for 8 hours a day and all these evaluations. And so the tests pretty much showed that I was community college ready. So I went to a community college for a little bit up in Cleveland, and I was only there for 3 weeks. They put me in a math class, and my accommodations weren't being met. So then me and my mother went back down to the BSBI office, and I said, okay, I want to go to Otterbein University, and I feel like it'll benefit me. I've been in Columbus. I kind of already know, the lay of the land, and they will benefit me more.
Right.
As they do for the blind in Columbus because they're better there. So they let me go to Otterbein, and that's where I've been. This is my last, technically, semester. I first came into Otterbein as a Spanish teacher, Spanish education. Then I switched my major to Spanish interpreting, and now I am a psychology major. And once I graduate, hopefully next year, I'll be going to Ohio State University for graduate school so I can get licensed and become a child psychologist, get my master's degree, and all that jazz.
Cool.
So there's that aspect. I am planning on trying to get a blind drumline started. That's been a dream of mine since I left OSSB. So I don't know how it's going to get done. I have a partner who wants to do this with me. But I don't know. I don't know how it's going to get done. But I am not going to stop until this is accomplished. So
right.
That's another plan of mine. But besides that, nothing else has been really happening. Just school, writing, and
sounds like me
trying to figure out.
Sounds like me and Rise Above. trying to get that thing going with Principal Miller. That was hard to say the least.
Yeah.
But at least I got it going. That was my baby.
Yeah.
During my time there at the school.
Mhm. I remember I went to a few meetings.
I tried to get as many people as I could to go to meetings.
Yeah.
And I remember I got Shannon Mangan, the one who started the original group,
Right,
come in for
yeah.
a meeting. And like one other person. So we had a couple special guests come in per meeting. Anything else you'd like to add?
Not really. I enjoyed my time at OSSB. I'm proud to call myself an alumni, and I honestly hope that once I do get the blind drumline started, that I can recruit help from the music teachers, directors there, and previous directors and music teachers for that. So I've kind of already talked to Mr. Kelly about what would need to be done if I wanted to start it. So, but yeah.
And
I don't have anything else.
I know, as you know, OSSB is a family through in and throughout.
Mm-hmm.
No ifs, ands, or buts. We have those days where families bicker. It's the same at OSSB.
Yeah.
When you first walked through the doors at OSSB, what were your initial thoughts, if you can remember back that far?
Okay. My family was with me, like most of my entire family was with me. So, we walked into the office where Mr. Markham at the time was, and I shook his hand, and we sat down and looked at my schedule, and he seemed really nice. I was like, okay, like maybe this won't be so bad.
Right.
And then I went into Mr. Nixon's classroom after we got finished with Mr. Markham. And I met Renee Long. And it was interesting, to say the least. But then after that, like, it was when everybody was kind of getting out of classrooms and the bells were, so it was just like, a lot of people walking around with canes and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, this is not going to be so bad,
Right. I'm one of these guys.
And yeah. And I went down to I got to meet my class. And Ariel was the first one to come up and shake my hand, and she told me, that she was going to help me around and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was really shy back then. Like, I didn't hardly talk to people much. And then Billy, he was so hyper.
Yeah, that's Billy.
He came out of nowhere, and he was like, hi, I'm Billy Brendon. Let me shake your hand. And, at the time, he had this little voice, so it was like, all right.
Knowing Billy, I can see that.
And Jeremiah and Jerica, they were so country. I was like, man, where's everybody from? So
Right.
Kelsey, I think she was in that class at the time, Kelsey Riley. She was really quiet. And I met Miss Fraley. She was our home ec teacher. So it was cool. And then I went back to the dorm afterwards, and after I had Miss Wilson's class, and first thing Ariel told me was, like, when you come in, you have to say that you're here. And I was like, but why? I was like, what exactly? And then they were like, oh, like, well, who do you want a room with? And they were telling me, like, the ages of the students, and I was like, it doesn't really matter.
And who was in each room?
Yeah, and, or, the rooms that were that were open,
available. Yeah.
that I could, yeah. And so it was a really interesting experience. I wasn't homesick or anything, because I've been away from home during like summer camps and stuff with disabled people, and stuff. So it wasn't bad.
Right.
But it was just different, There were rules that you had to follow. There were certain bedtimes, and it was new and it was different, but I liked it,
Yes, it was. Any staff members that didn't, or you didn't really, what's the word I'm looking for? Click with that? Because I can think of a few that weren't technically, I don't know any other way to put this. So, my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have those that we love, and we all have those that we don't really. Yeah. I
mean, after that incident with the pool, Mr. Peterfish became one of those people. I'm gonna lie. Who else? Let's see. Some of the house parents, but I liked most of them. Some of them I just wasn't too keen on.
Right.
Most teachers I liked. Mr. Shaw was another one that I was a little about. I feel like
same here.
He tried to push me for that the canteen thing, and I really was not feeling that. I didn't want to do it. I don't really like to do things like that. And
right.
I know I got in trouble one time for having my phone out. It was at lunch, but it was outside. When everybody would go outside and hang out.
Yeah, by the
in
big
the
toy
little area by the.
Or by the doors by the gym. Yeah.
Yep. And I got in trouble, and he ended up taking my phone away. I was so mad at him.
That's something Mr. Shaw would have done.
Another time, I came out the lunchroom eating chips, or not really eating them, but they were in my pocket.
Right.
And he got mad at me and told me to take them back in the and I was like, well, they're in my pocket. I'm not going to eat them. And he just kept yelling at me to take them back. So I took them out of my pocket and I crumpled them up in my hands, and I went back in the dining room and I threw them away. And he was like, oh, no, you're not coming. You are sitting in here until you figure out what you did. Excuse you. I just crumpled up chips, but I was pretty upset.
Right.
What is happening here? You're not going to let me go out.
I don't know what's going on.
Because I crumpled up chips.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here. Why is this happening?
He came in and tried to talk to me like he was phasing me. I was upset, but I was,
Right. And I know Miss Brown, on her bad days, you avoided the library.
Yeah.
You avoided the library on those days.
But I really liked Miss Brown just because she was, the librarian. She'd give me books, and I'd be happy just to.
Right.
I'd be happy just to, be reading for real.
Exactly.
So, but I'm aware of her bad times.
Yep. She has retired, so.
I heard.
And Mr. Nixon is no longer in history.
I heard.
So things have changed. Miss Kaler is no longer at OSSB either, so.
I know. She went and got her doctorate, didn't she?
I think so. I forget where she's teaching at now, but it's some university. I thought it was OSU, but it's not. So.
Oh, okay.
I don't exactly remember which
Beverly
school she's at.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm not sure either. All right. I think I am done, unless you have anything else that's come to your mind from poking at the OSSB barrel, so to say.
No, I think that's it. I enjoyed being on here with you. Thanks for taking out the time.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
And you're welcome back anytime, as long as, well, you're welcome back if you think of more to talk about. I think that'll do it for this episode. Don't forget to share, give us a follow on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I think that will do it for this episode. Until then, bye for now.
I loved it. So what? You also loved World War II.
Thanks for joining us this week on OSSB Inside and Out. Make sure to follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by searching for OSSB Inside and Out Podcast. Make sure you don't miss any future episodes. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms. Thank you for listening.